here with the Naked Cowboy, Times Square famous Naked Cowboy. How you doing today, brother?
I'm the Naked Cowboy. I'm keeping it real for you. I'm the Naked Cowboy. You gotta do what you gotta do. Great. How are you?
I'm good, brother. So how'd you get started as the Naked Cowboy?
Well, I was actually born naked 48 years ago.
Oh, okay.
My first standard joke, haha.
Yeah.
I've been in Times Square on 20 years, 6 months, and something like 20 days or something today.
Oh, congrats.
It's a long time. But basically, I was a big Tony Robbins protege. I mean, until I read Tony Robbins, I never read any book in my life, really. I got through school without even trying because I went to a Catholic school, so I went to the public high school. It was a cakewalk because Catholic schools were way tougher than public schools. So anyway, when I basically read that book, Unlimited Power, by Tony Robbins, I just put a fire under me like nothing else. Up to that point, I was a very, I'd say, impetuous, arrogant, everything I am now, but on steroids. But I wasn't on steroids. That's gonna sound funny now because you're gonna say I'm on steroids.
Muscle bound, Naked Cowboy.
That's freaking nature. So anyway, I read the book, Tony Robbins. I don't know who got me into it or somebody. I don't know how it came about, but when I read this book, I went from being basically a real troublemaking kid, an attention freak kid, and just doing stupid stuff, a lot of juvenile delinquency and stuff. And, I was a little kid in a small town, and we just tore up the town. And my dad was on city council, but my parents were divorced, so I was with my mother, and we were able to just railroad her, do whatever the hell we want. She couldn't control us, and we were just ruthless kids. So anyway, when I got a hold of this book, it was right about the time I started working out, around 17 years old. So I started working out, I started getting attention for, being muscular, and also it kind of, when I read the books, like, man, I don't have any real friends, I don't have money, I don't have, in other words, it made me look at my life, physically, financially, socially, emotionally, historically, all those kind of things. So I started writing goals. I wanted to be and immediately, I wanted to be the most celebrated entertainer of all time, the richest, most famous man in the world. He talks about modeling. Who do you want to be like? I wanted to be a king, a president, someone that had limousines, like everybody. To me, that's normal. Anybody who says they don't want to be rich and famous, have all the things in life, they don't understand that we're vain creatures and we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to compete with each other and be successful and to be better than the next guy. Absolutely. And in so doing, we motivate and inspire, impact, and influence other people. So that, that was normal to me, and I got really pumped and jacked on doing just that. So I was training harder, I started college, ended up going through 4 years, actually 5 years, getting a bachelor's degree, then went to Xavier to get a master's degree, an MBA. So I was working, everything I was doing 100%. And I wanted, again, the actor, the movie star, all this kind of stuff. I was sending pictures of myself. I was also, all the way through college, I was a stripper. So I was I was studying around the clock. So it gave me an opportunity to just go out on the weekends, make money, dancing naked, So I was kind of doing this even before this. So anyway, I get a call to do a spread for Playgirl magazine. I'd been sending out pictures. I'd done all kinds of different magazines, the Jerry Springer, anything you could possibly do to put your name out there and try to get on TV and get famous. I was on all that stuff. So I go to Venice Beach to shoot for Playgirl magazine. I'm shooting one day naked. And then the next day I'm on the boardwalk, because I also started singing and playing guitar as a country singer. So I have my jeans, totally, wearing clothes, and ignored the entire day. And the photographer shooting me naked, so why don't you play in your underwear, do something different, which of course is right up my alley. I worked down in Muscle Beach that exact same day and then put my clothes back on, out of my Daisy Dukes, and then in my full clothes to play in the hot sun. And I was ignored the entire day. And so when he suggested playing my underwear, I did that the following day. People took pictures the whole day. I got on the news just because the news crew just happened to be coming through. And he called me Naked Cowboy. So I went home to Cincinnati. I already had all this stuff written out. I was going to do all this stuff already. I just didn't have a vehicle. So as soon as that happened, I had a vehicle. I'm going to be Naked Cowboy. I'm going to take this all the way. And I went home. I did the same thing in my hometown. I went down to Fountain Square, got naked, underwear, boots, hat, played guitar, got on the news, got arrested, and then got on a morning show because I heard I got arrested. So with those components, I then got in my car, boots, hat, packs of underwear, drove from Cincinnati to Nashville, called the police, called the news on myself, went to a location where I just reported this crazy guy was, went out there, got on the news, cops just told me to leave town, went to Atlanta, did the same thing, went city to city, all the way down the entire coast of Florida, all the way to Key West on the tip of it, up the other side of Florida, I-10, Lafayette, Louisiana, I get the news and it got on hard copy and Entertainment Tonight. So then I realized these local stories I'm getting on the press these days could go national. So, but it kept going all the way to California, San Francisco, all the way back. Took like 50 something days, thousands and thousands of miles on the car. Got on the news endless times and was arrested 15 total on the first trip. Got home, felt like the most famous guy in the world. I'd seen myself on TV, radio, all this stuff. I get home, nothing's happening. Phone's not ringing, no Calvin Klein, no major endorsement ads. So I worked at Fridays a little long. I was at TGI Fridays this whole time. Mm-hmm. So I went back to Fridays, tried to take, reduce some of my debt, from staying in hotels, or I stayed at truck stops. I did, it was a G-string budget. Shoestring budget, sorry. Anyway, I ended up going around again. I also was sending tapes out, and I got like the Jenny Jones show. I made a tape as a Nick Cowboy, and I got into Jenny Jones a couple times. I did a Ricky Lake, just different things like that happened. The Gong show in California. When I got the Gong show in California, I basically routed the trip and just ended up in California on the date of it. So it was a part of my second or third tour around the entire United States, nonstop driving, living out of the trunk. Then a friend suggested, why don't you go east? He said you can get arrested every 3 hours instead of every 12 hours because the cities are a lot closer together. Sounded like a great idea. Went here, ended up in New York City. It was so busy, and so, the cameras, the whole exponential factor of having people take the picture. I was like, this is a gold mine. So went to the Royal Motel in Secaucus, New Jersey. It's about right on the other side of the thing, $50 a night, and had secure parking. Came back day 2, day 3, day 4, and now it's 20 years, 6 months, and 20 days. I've also gotten married in that time. Now I live in Queens for 5 years, and I went back and forth countless times to Cincinnati over the years, like 3 times a year, times 20. I just went there, saw my family again, Dad, and everybody's there. So, now we, have the #1 selling oyster in the country, Naked Cowboy Oysters. We have our own wines, Naked Cowboy from Naked Winery. We have a Sauvignon Blanc and a Viognier that are being paired with these oysters. And over 1,000 restaurants from California, LA, literally there's like 100 of them in New York City sell Naked Cowboy Oysters. Is a very popular oyster. We have Naked Cowboy Oyster Hot Sauce. We have Naked Cowgirl Oysters. We have 3 albums, all on iTunes. So everybody I talk to, they pay a couple bucks, they put tip in the guitar. I sign the card, they go to iTunes, it kind of turns into a $1, turns into $50. Or they might buy my book, Determination, or they might, see our oysters or our wines and do that as well. There you go.
Thank you, brother. I noticed, how did you come up with the idea of calling the police on yourself? That's genius.
Well, every time when I went out each time, first of all, people came out. Somebody would invariably call the police. And the news, if I got lucky, that would get there before the police shoot me off. But the point was to get the publicity, so I would just call the news. I didn't even have a map when I went around the country, nor did I ever have a phone number or a contact. I would literally just get the yellow pages, all the www, obviously they're all in the same building, all the radio shows. Knock on the door and act like I'm supposed to be there I listen to the radio on my way in. Oh, the Bob and Tom Show. Yeah, I'm here for the Bob and Tom Show. There's a guy in his underwear says here at the Bob and Tom Show. They met me in. I do all the radio show. Come bring him over here. The same way I call the news. Just say, guy playing his guitar's underwear. Call the police. Just do it all because it would happen anyway, but it would make it happen quicker. Like on I-10 going across Texas, I got like Beaumont, Houston. I got like 3 cities in 1 lunch hour. On the news in 3 different places. Like a terror. And that's what Times Square offers. All day long. I'm in like 4 or 5 major motion pictures. I've been a member of SAG since 2000. Yeah, done like 3 Pepsi commercials. Yeah. Beyonce knows Spike Lee produced the first one I was in. I've done all the biggest stuff, and I continue to get stuff. Constantly do deals at like $1,000 an hour in New York, $10,000 out of the country. Yeah. Been to Japan twice, Australia, Ireland. Just did Norway, flights from JFK to Norway or Oslo as a Naked Cowboy. Advertising New York. Yeah, everything's naked.
You were dressed as the Naked Cowboy. Naked on the flight.
Everything. They set the whole thing to do it. Norwegian Airlines, New York Bagels, and Ireland or England. Everywhere. I've been everywhere doing this.
How much does your business degree come into play? Because I noticed you have your business down packed. You've diversified. You have ancillary products, and you have the trademark.
My manager is Todd Rubenstein, and all the genius behind what I've done is, on the business end, he does everything and has since day one. Now he could not hit. He's got probably the most. I've never met anybody like him. He's proficient on 13 instruments, talking piano, guitar, cello, you name it. Like anything.
He's like.
I've been in all of the lawsuits we've been in. He corrected all their work and sent it back with slapping him on the hand like a little baby, like you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like he's very, very good. But I also, when I got him, the first thing he did, we did a song together. But then that was when M&M's had the Naked Cowboy M&M, basically. So it was a parody, whatever. But we had a $6 million federal lawsuit that he said we should definitely pursue. He made all that happen. What was my point though? Oh, well, that's when he came in on board with all. But the point is that I have every single thing I've eaten, every TV show I've got on, everything I did each day chronicled in my journal since 1998. So I can show you everywhere I've been. That's why I know exactly how many days I've done what I did and exactly how many hours I got done in a minute if I want to. So I'm extremely methodical. I saved every single thing I've done, and everything is was so well documented that no one can argue. So I am the perfect guy for someone like his skills. He could not have used those skills without someone like me. He's been in the business like 30 years, record business, and now he's the West Coast distributor for Nate Cowboy Oysters. Has over $2 million a year business he's doing with oysters and lobsters and sea, you name it, all over the Vegas and California. So he's a monster, and also the greatest guy in the world. Loves me to death, and he said 30 years he's never had anybody like me, diligence and not screwing around, getting it done. So I told him when I met him I'd be the most celebrated entertainer of all time, richest, most famous, all this stuff, and he's to this day. Like, I remember sitting there listening to you on the couch thinking this guy's crazy, and now 20 years later he's done everything he said he's gonna do. So it's pretty cool.
That's a beautiful ride, man. What are some of the wildest things that happened in Times Square? Because you've been there for 20 years. I mean, you were still there when there were still prostitutes walking around Times Square, right? No,
that was me. There's still people like that there. I mean, you see everything, but it's the one question everybody wants to ask, what's the craziest thing? And it's like, nothing stands out except just a non-stop hustle of...
Has Times Square gotten cleaner from the time you started?
Well, you always hear about Bloomberg and these people, and they cleaned up the area and Disneyfied. I've always seen it's just tons of people, and again, you get there on Saturday, Sunday morning, the place looks like a train wreck. Mm-hmm. And then the Times Square Alliance, they have people who come out and clean, and it's hit or miss, but I think for the most part they do a pretty good job considering. Like I said, the guys out there selling CDs, like drinking shots and just throws a bottle on the ground. Take garbage, eat a big old thing of McDonald's, they throw it on, like, what the hell is going on? But not just them. Everybody has their. But this is just because we have to operate. They opened a pedestrian mall, which was a big change for Times Square. I used to stand right in the middle, on a little island between 7th and Broadway. Right, that's why I was there alone for like the first 15 years of it. Oh, I started all this, But it's the only place to go. It really wasn't a place that was conducive for what everyone's doing now. But when they opened the mall and they made it foot traffic, and people knew, people like me, people who wanted to come out there and do some kind of craft, that really flourished when they opened that up. And then because the people were doing exactly what they're doing now, but in isolated areas, they were just going all over and attacking people all over the place, and it was chaos. They decided to make the boxes to keep people. So I'm, basically trapped in a den of thieves and criminals and gangsters all day, and I love them all, and I know every one of them. Half of them are on my cell phone right now. They're, I follow them on Instagram, and I'm with them all day long. Even if I hate them, I gotta like them. There's no, so, and I do like them, and I don't, disrespect them. It just seems like you see some little Asian guy come up and completely take everything. He thinks he's getting a parking ticket. You don't even know what the hell's going on. He walks away dizzy without hundreds of dollars and a blank CD.
They sell blank CDs?
I don't know. I think a lot of them, to their credit, they do have music. They have their MySpaces or Instagrams, and they are trying to be just like me. They want to be rich, successful, famous. They want to be a rock star. They want to be somebody. So I get that. But I also see them opening a box of 50 CDs and just, I don't see any recording going on. Oh. And then they got one sheet that has the CD on it, And they give you that one, then they take that one back and just give you one with just the wrapper and sign it, and it's just crazy.
Oh, man.
But everybody in Times Square is doing something. I mean, everybody's trying to make money doing something like that, and it's just aggressive. I don't ask for money, I never had, don't have, I mean, I stand out because of that. They come to me, I don't go after anybody. They want a picture, they come, you get a picture. They want a tip, so you can put it in the guitar if you want. Do $500-700 a day every single day. You can find everything I'm doing at nakedcowboy.com, and also at The Naked Cowboy on Instagram. And my Facebook is facebook.com/NKD Cowboy.